Welcome back to IGN Live. I'm Philip, and today I'm joined by Alanah Pierce, and we're talking about Super Smash Bros. Ultimate.
Yeah.
Yes, how exciting. We finally have a name, and we both played the game. I played it yesterday. You played in the tournament yesterday.
I did, yeah. Why don't we talk about the tournament a little? It was so much fun being there. We were right after the Splatoon World Championships, which was crazy. People were so excited, but being in the room, I just played basically kind of a fun match in between the tournament to break things up for pro players.
Right.
But the vibe there, everyone's so excited about the announcement. They're so excited to see every character there that it was a lot of fun. I played Kirby. I got third, which is, all right, but it was unlimited stock, all items on. So it was chaotic. I got knocked out by a whole bunch of Pokemon, like putting Kirby just in the wrong place on the map a bunch of times. But the actual tournament, the winner was Zero. He's won twice now with his very, very strong Mario game. And funnily enough, the last two matches were Sonic versus Mario, which is just kind of ironic.
Oh
it's
my
like, of course, it's the ultimate matchup. But it was a lot of fun to watch. Everyone was really excited to be there. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Very cool. So now that we've both had some hands-on time with it, I'd love to get your opinion on what you think of it so far, and mechanically, how does it feel? Does it feel closer to Melee to you? Does it feel closer to Brawl? And how do you feel about the roster? I know there's a lot going on, so.
Yeah, I think for most players, for most casual players, it's going to feel just like Smash. It's going to feel the same as it always has. It's going to be familiar. I think for a very vast majority of your characters, there haven't been any major changes, so you're going to be able to jump right back in and everything's going to feel completely normal. I would say it's probably a little bit closer to Brawl, but with Kirby, the biggest things that I noticed were recovery seemed a little bit easier. You can get flown further off of the map, and it's easier for you to jump back in. And I think it seems to me to be a little bit easier to string combos. I definitely couldn't do that with all the items on match that I was playing, but when I did get to play a little bit more on Switch yesterday, it did seem like I could string together combos a little more smartly, and of course everything's just timed to precision. I had trouble with Ridley though.
Oh, yeah?
I did not do well playing as Ridley. Did you get a chance to try him out?
I messed around with Ridley a little bit. I didn't get too familiar with the controls, but I do like the moveset and what I've seen so far. For me, Ridley is a little similar to Charizard, except with some slight alterations. Obviously, it's a heavier type character, so moving around the stage is going to be a little slower, but Ridley is very powerful, especially the smash moves.
Yeah.
I noticed he has a flame... Not a flamethrower out of his mouth, but of flame balls, kind of like Mario with the fireballs. So that's really cool. But I spent most of my time playing as the Inklings.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
How did you like them?
They are very, very interesting. So obviously they have almost all of their weapons from Splatoon, which is very awesome. And they can use them accordingly on the map to ink it up and to ink up other players who are fighting in the match as well.
Funny, we can see a bunch of ink on this stage right now. It's actually really cool.
Exactly, and when the enemies get covered up in ink, the Inklings actually do extra damage, which I think is a really cool mechanic, and it adds a ton of strategy to just that character, of course. So yeah, I mean, so far I'm really impressed with how they play. They're super, super fast.
Yeah.
Yeah, they remind me a lot of Sonic too, with how they move around the stage.
Interesting. I guess that's a nice counter to the addition of Ridley, being that, my issue with Ridley was that he was slow. I'm bad playing slow characters, and I found evading difficult. And I usually play being as Kirby. Sometimes I play as Ike. It's like characters that are very good at jumping away. I had that trouble with him, but I didn't get to try the Inklings. I'm curious how this iteration of Smash is going to change the esports scene, if at all, because from what I saw yesterday, most of the pro players were playing with the characters they've always played as, even though we did get a training session on the Switch. So we did get to try other characters out. So they did get to see how everyone feels, but they still kind of stuck with their roots, which I suppose is comforting. It means it's not too much of a takeoff from previous games in the series, but I'm still wondering if it's going to kind of mix things up a little bit.
Yeah. I'm curious about that too, and I'm also really excited to learn more about what modes are included, how online is going to work, and obviously just getting my hands on more time with each of the characters as well.
Yeah, yesterday when I was asking if I could have items turned on during my training session, they made me cover my eyes. When they were going through the menu, I had to, physically cover my face because they didn't want me to see any of it.
Oh,
so
wow.
Like, what were you hiding? What does it all look like behind
I need to know.
Yeah, but there was another change that I saw as well. Oh, yeah, more Pokemon. The variety of Pokemon that come out of Pokeballs, that's really what screwed me up on my matches, that I wasn't expecting them. I wasn't entirely sure how to evade a lot of them.
Right.
So there was definitely more variety there. And obviously there's the new, I don't know the actual name, but the fake Smash Ball.
Yeah, I think it's just called Fake Smash Ball.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So it's basically, for anyone who hasn't seen it, it's the Smash Ball, but it's tilted to the other side.
Okay.
So it looks a little bit different. Yeah, but it's hard to pick that up because obviously the Smash Ball moves around so much that when it falls, sometimes you can accidentally hit it, or in other cases, we've actually got someone playing as Ridley here if you guys want to take a look at that. But I fell for it once, and basically if you hit the fake Smash Ball, there's just a big explosion, you take a ton of damage. So you got to avoid it. And I think that's a really interesting thing to throw into the items pool. It's kind of like a fake out to make, Smash is so much, for me, about paying attention to what other people are doing and what other characters are doing to know how to respond appropriately. So then when you add that in, and now I have to pay tons of attention to items as well, like it's a lot, but it's fun.
Yeah, definitely. So I want to take a minute and just kind of bring your attention over here to where our IGN crew is actually playing Super Smash Bros. Ultimate right now. We're getting ready to hold a Winner's Stays tournament, so make sure you guys stay for that. We've got some of our best players practicing right now to make sure that we put on a good show for you guys, and they look like they're having a blast over there. You're actually watching some of their
It is that
right
gameplay
now.
that we're watching right now. And so I just think I saw 2 Smash Balls just then. See, there are 2. One of those has got to be fake. There we go. You can see the thicker line is basically at the bottom on the fake Smash Ball, and that's what happened. That big explosion is what happens when you hit the fake Smash Ball, which is, I don't know, it's chaotic. I got 1 knockout in my matches yesterday from that because it basically throws a big X up on screen that's just a huge explosion that if anyone has a high damage percentage, they're going to get kicked off the map pretty quickly in a very dramatic explosion. But it's fun to watch. It's a fun mechanic. I'm very interested to see how many more new items we have. Did they talk about that a lot in the Direct yesterday, Philip?
No, not really. They briefly graced over the fact that there, of course, will be plenty of items to return. They didn't speak to as if how many new ones are coming or what they are exactly, but I'm sure that we're going to be getting lots of updates as we get closer to launch. But yeah, I guess this is the tournament happening right now, right?
Curious who won here?
Yeah.
You know who won that match?
Of
like
course,
Brendan.
our very own Brendan Graber.
He is probably the best Smash player in the office.
Yeah, at least at that table right now.
Yeah, so who do you main, out of curiosity?
My main is Shulk, mainly.
Okay.
So yeah, we've seen some changes come to Shulk as well, mainly how he changes between arts. Unfortunately, Shulk isn't available in the E3 demo.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm really excited to jump in there and just see how he's been tweaked a little bit. But every character has apparently received some changes and some tweaks. And you main, I think, Kirby?
Yeah, and like I said before, it seemed like the recovery was better. Kirby could jump a little higher, which Kirby can already jump pretty high, and I could string combos together kind of more smoothly. I wonder if maybe just the cuts between animations, and it's such an important thing for fighting games, is that you have to feel like when you press a button, the animation happens immediately, there's no delay. And that's a really difficult thing in game development that a lot of devs actually talk about, is the idea that the perfect response time between pressing a button and having the animation execute is something like 0.0016 seconds or something. Like, there's a fine art to it.
Oh, wow.
And I feel like that is something that I didn't even realize that I had an issue with previously that just feels smoother now. It's kind of a thing where you're like, how do you fix perfection? And they're like, oh, you did it. Like, you somehow managed to figure that out. So
exactly.
I definitely need more time to play to really see what the big differences are. But for every player, the recovery seemed like the bigger thing. It did seem easier, well, except when something like that happens, R.I.P. Pikachu. But it did seem easier for everyone to get back on the stages, and I think the stages look like they have a little more depth too, just aesthetically.
Totally. Yeah, definitely.
I feel like they look really, really sharp, and
they look really good. And I'm excited to get I'm excited to hear the opinions of competitive players and to get their thoughts on all of these tweaks and changes that have come to Smash as well, just because of how intense it all is, really.
Yeah, that Ganondorf, man, you got a lot of damage there, bud.
Oh man, they are going crazy.
And he's still okay. That's crazy. There's a smart up B there to get him back on the map, but it's still such a fun spectator sport, as well.
It totally
it's just so much fun to watch. But yeah, we really can't grasp how dramatically different everything is.
Have you noticed?
In with the Snorlax. Everyone's going after that Smash Ball. Good luck, Casey, with the Pikachu, I assume. Trying to get in there. Oh no, what happened there?
Have you noticed the new mechanic that they added when you dash, how it kind of slows down the next time you try and dash.
Yeah, I
getting
thought that was a
slower.
really interesting one that I wasn't using a lot when I was playing. But I'm wondering how that specifically is going to change competitive play. Like, I'm sure that it'll end up being utilized quite a bit because that gives you another way to preempt what other players are going to do, and I think that that's really interesting. But yeah, for the most part, I don't know, I'm happy with it. It seems like the reception's been really positive. When they announced that everybody's back, it was a huge deal. Like, that was just so exciting. I feel like the whole community was leading up to this point just questioning who would be back, aside from, you know, jokes like, oh, I want Goku or whatever, like, which I'm still kind of holding out for. But aside from that, I really was not expecting that announcement, and I think that's just taken the excitement for this game to a whole new level. We're getting it on Switch. It runs great. I haven't seen any bugs, even though yesterday, kind of when they were talking to me about it, they were like, well, there's things that we don't want you to see. We're like concerned about capture maybe because it's not perfect. It's like Nintendo is such perfectionists that I didn't see a single issue. This is crazy, this is being upside down. Everything they release is just so polished.
I totally agree. And even in this demo form right now, it does feel incredibly polished and just plays so well. Now, one thing I forgot to ask you earlier is, do you play on a GameCube controller normally when you play Smash?
Yes.
So you will be using a GameCube adapter?
Yeah, and I did all day yesterday. I actually didn't get to try it handheld.
Oh, okay.
Did you?
No, I didn't get to try it
I'm
handheld.
really curious what that's going to play like. We had Pro controllers in GameCube. I usually play with a GameCube controller, and obviously there's an adapter for Switch, so that's handy. But yeah, I'm very curious to see how it's going to feel in handheld mode.
Yeah, me too. I'm not sure if they're letting anyone try it in handheld mode at E3, but I'm curious to see that as well.
I guess I'm a little bit concerned about that, but you know, a lot of the concerns that I have had about the handheld version of the Switch have been wrong. Ultimately, you know, I had concerns that playing Zelda for a long amount of time handheld, that my hands would end up hurting, and I mean they did, but that was when I was playing for 7 hours straight. It's my own fault. I was like really worried about stuff like that. I was worried about precision when it comes to aiming, but I feel like the Switch is a very versatile console. That's obviously what it's built to be, and I think it's really comfortable. It's just fighting games are so fast that I want to both be assured that I'm not going to break a controller playing Smash because it's, you know, such furious movements, but also that it's going to stay comfortable. And yeah, I'm a little bit cautiously optimistic about it, but it's also, I imagine I'll be proven wrong because, as we said earlier, Nintendo are just such perfectionists. I'm sure it'll be absolutely fine. But yeah, the fact that no one's gotten to try it yet, I think, is very interesting. I wonder when the public will be able to get to check that out. This really screwed me up when I was playing yesterday. That arrow really changes the gravity when you're around it and just like tosses you across the map, and it's a lot of fun. And I love all this, the moving stage stuff too, and the 3D spaces. It just looks really good.
It looks gorgeous,
really good.
yeah. Definitely. I fell off this stage so many
down
times.
There?
Yeah. Oh, there he goes. Oh, they're all going down.
Damn, Samus.
Yeah, I played a ton of Super Smash Bros. For 3DS portably, and I always get into it like crazy whenever I play Smash Brothers. So I'm very afraid of playing in handheld mode and like, I don't know, ripping my Joy-Cons off or just.
I guess most of my concern is user concern. I'm worried that I'm gonna like break something or throw something. Like it's more about me than it is about anything Nintendo's doing.
Right.
But I feel like it's a valid concern. It's a change, of course, but yeah, obviously we don't need to worry about it for the most part because everyone is going to be able to play it with a GameCube controller or a Pro controller if they want to. And one thing I'm really hoping is that we will be able to play online in the same way that we've been able to with Mario Kart, even if you're on a flight and airplane mode, by having a local lobby. I love the idea that there are 100 people on a plane and everyone's just matching up, playing Smash together. That would be so much fun. And I'm wondering what they're going to do when the online system comes out, if maybe Nintendo will orchestrate their own kind of competitive tournaments, because we know that a lot of popular games, like Rocket League is a really great example. They have their own tournament system built in where players can be matched up for a certain amount of time, fight the same people over and over again. I guess it's not fighting in Rocket League, but do good cars with the same people over and over again. And I wonder what Nintendo might do to facilitate that kind of thing as well.
Well, we see Splatfests in Splatoon.
Yep.
We see Party Crash mode in ARMS. So maybe we'll get something for Smash.
I
as well.
really hope so.
Yeah.
I mean, it seems very likely, but I'm curious how it's going to work and what it's going to look like. And you're right. If they'll have events similar to the events we've seen in Splatoon where we have to pick between ketchup and mayonnaise. Like, I don't know how that works in Smash, but I love the idea of it.
All right, well, it looks like this is our last match right here as we wind things down. Do we have a winner? Who won that last tournament? Of course,
good job.
our very own Brendan Graber.
The Samus player in that last match there.
Fantastic work. Thank you guys very much for tuning in for our IGN E3 2018 Super Smash Bros. Ultimate Tournament with our victorious Brendan Graber taking home the gold. Thank you very much for watching. Stick around, and for everything E3 2018 in video games, keep it here on IGN.